you typically look.
And Matt Purcell. Here come this is the boys, the varsity.
Hello and welcome to Oregon SportsBeat TV, your local live leader in high school sports. My name is Steve Roberts. I'm your host tonight, and I'm joined alongside me by Dave Hall, the voice of Oregon SportsBeat.
Thanks, Steve. And tonight we have a real treat. We're going to learn something about rugby tonight, as we are going to interview the three gentlemen sitting here with us. Chip Burnside. Chip last year helped Oregon SportsBeat cover the Oregon Open Division, and what do we call the other division?
That was the club championship.
Club championship. Helped Oregon SportsBeat cover those games. We have with us Lawrence Anderson, who's the head coach at Union High School, and we have with us Keith Swensen, who's with the Oregon Pioneer Rugby team. All right. Keith and I actually went to law school together, so we've kind of renewed an old friendship while we've had a chance to talk here. Gentlemen, welcome to Oregon SportsBeat. And last year, until we did your tournament, I was not totally familiar with rugby, and I got an eye-opening last year when I went to the tournament. Chip, tell us a little bit about the state of rugby in the state of Oregon.
Well, it's actually growing quite a great deal. We've actually got a junior varsity division this year, as well as the divisions that Keith is in, which is single school. My team, the team that I help coach with Nathan Murray, is a club team, which is basically it's a team that's brought together from multiple schools.
All right, and the tournament last year in 2017 featured Open Division and other club teams also?
Yeah, there were girls' games going on there. As you saw, you had the girls' club, and also the girls' single school was played there at that championship.
I would venture that most people are not familiar with the state of rugby in the high schools in Oregon. It's officially not a high school sport right now. Is there any movement on that?
Well, I believe they fall under the OSAA, and I think that they are a spring sport under OSAA guidelines. So, yeah, a lot of people don't know about it, but it is definitely growing. And in fact, the girls' game is very popular. In fact, the United States women's team is very, very good. And I think it's only a matter of time before the girls' game probably grows faster than the boys' game at this stage.
Tell us a little bit about your background in rugby. I know you're from New Zealand.
Well, you know, if you come from New Zealand, you've got to have to play rugby. I started playing when I was 5 years old, and I played until my mid-20s. I wasn't good enough to play at a level down there in New Zealand that was the same. Like, my brother was very good at it, but I decided to pursue a career. I did actually play a little bit of rugby league, which is that's kind of a sister sport to rugby union. So I've kind of gone, and I also played in multiple countries. So I played in Australia and England. So I bring kind of a bit of an international background to my coaching.
And you actually coach a team now?
I'm the assistant coach of the Beaverton Barbarians. Nathan Murray is the head coach. He's been the head coach there for at least 5 or 6 years. I've helped him for the past 5, and he's an excellent coach.
They were one of the teams we covered last year, weren't they?
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to make the finals last year. We had a very, very good team last year, and we've had a number of returning players this year, so we should fare okay this year and during the season.
All right, Lawrence, I mentioned you're the coach at Union High School in Vancouver. How long have you been coaching there?
I've been coaching for Union for about a year. year and a half. I came on as the assistant coach, and our head coach suddenly had to move, so I took over the coaching from that point on. It was kind of a loss. We were very sad to see him go, but I think we kind of rallied together and pulled together and did pretty well.
Now, you've coached both the boys and the girls?
Yeah, when I started, originally I was just kind of a coach for the parents. It's called a culture keeper. Kind of reminds the parents to be as sportsmanly as you expect your players to be, which was a good spot for me because, you know, I was one of the loudest voices on the parent side. After that, Coach Curl wanted to start a girls team because about 15 girls had approached him and said, hey, you know, all these guys are playing, can we play? So he started the team and handed it over to me, and I coached the girls for over a year, then took some time off and came back to the boys team.
Where do you play your games at? Do you play them at Union High School?
No, actually, we usually set things up through Rugby Oregon to find a home field for us. Sometimes it's at a middle school, sometimes it's at a particular field. We have some matches at Delta Park, but in the future it would be nice to bring it back home to Union.
All right, we're going to show a video. We've got a video, and we are going to talk about the video while it's going on. So if everybody can see the monitor, we got about a 2-minute video of rugby, and if you guys want to chime in as to what we're watching, we can do that. So we'll watch the video.
Yes, this is from our game last year in the state championship. This is Valley Rams playing Beaverton Barbarians. Here, this is a design play. Big Matty took that ball up, and then we actually got the ball wide all the way out to the winger. And that was Dakota Vasquez scored that try over in the corner.
Now, one of the things that you'll notice is it has some similarities to football, being, you know, actually the predecessor to American football. But play doesn't stop when the ball hits the ground or the ball carrier hits the ground. You saw that everyone kind of crowded in and then pulled the ball out and passed it out. Likewise, when the ball goes out of bounds, when they lifted them up, that was them passing the ball back into play.
Huge hit there.
The other thing that's the big difference between rugby and football, in football you see a runner going into contact and continuing, trying to make additional yardage. In rugby, possession is more important. The only time that you're really looking to gain additional yardage, that it's really dependent upon where you are on the field. And so if you're down near what's called the try line, the goal line, you're more apt to try to drive over. And to score in rugby, you actually have to put the ball down with pressure, which actually is where the term touchdown came from for football. And this is the Beaverton team here. Although my team did not play them last year in regular play, we played them in a preseason tournament, and they were probably one of the best teams that I have seen in Oregon high school rugby in the last 9 years.
So you see here when they go down and cover over the player, that's called a ruck. They protect the ball. Like Keith said, possession is really key in rugby. They bring the ball out and try and run it up the field. If they get tackled, just like he did here, his fellow players cover over him in what's called a ruck, and the only way to get the ball is, if it gets passed out, try and pick it off, or you have to come through the middle of that ruck.
So this here is a scrum, and this is what we would call a set-piece play. Both teams here are basically wearing the same colours, so it's really hard to spot, but Valley here take the ball off the back, I believe, and it's the Valley player who ends up regaining his footing and in for the try.
Dots it down.
If I didn't show that video of Valley scoring some points in this game, then Trevor De Silva, the coach of Valley, would probably disown him.
These games were, this tournament was actually at, I believe, Western Oregon University.
Yes, that's correct. And it's my understanding that we're going to be having the championships there again this year.
Oh, beautiful facility.
Absolutely. It's actually a regulation rugby pitch. Most of the time, as you mentioned earlier, it's not commonly known as a sport, but at Western Oregon, they actually built just a rugby field. Other places we have to take football fields or soccer fields and convert them.
Also this year at Western Oregon, this is the rugby that's being played here is 15-a-side rugby. There's also a fall and summer 7-a-side rugby league, which is the type of rugby that's being played in the Olympics. And this year the championships for 7-a-side was held at Western Oregon as well. Western Oregon has really kind of stepped up and provided great facilities for the Rugby Oregon matches.
The player who scored a couple of tries there in that video that we've just seen was Kendall Murray. He's actually a returning player for us this year. He's one of our very, very good players. Here, this is a try that was scored by Valley late in the game. It was a nice little action there. The runner threw a dummy pass that was bought, and a little bit of miscommunication on our defense there led to a Valley try.
Keith, I didn't mean to cut you out earlier. What's your background in rugby, and what are you doing now?
I coach the Oregon Pioneer rugby team at Oregon City High School. We started it there. This is our 9th year. My rugby background, I started playing when I was in college. When I was in high school, there wasn't any high school rugby. I played at Oregon State for 4 years and then played 15 years for the Portland Rugby Club. Tried like Chip, a lot of international, played in New Zealand, played in his home country, played in England, Ireland, Wales, Canada. And actually for several years, the Portland Rugby Club was probably one of the top 10 club sides in the country.
Chip, we've got the championships coming up again around the middle of May, I think. It's about the time. What can we look for this year in the championships?
Well, I can speak about the club division, whereas those guys over there are the experts of the varsity division. At the moment, the Eastside Tsunami are leading the points table. They've been unbeaten. We're currently second with Valley Rams. We actually drew our game earlier this year. So one would think the playoffs would form from those 3 teams. Teams with a good chance of joining us would be the Clark County Warriors. I saw them play against Lake Oswego last weekend, and they look pretty good. Bend has had a rough start to the season. They had to play us and Valley Rams already, and I think they've got beat by Clark County. But I'd look for them to rebound later in the season and possibly make the playoffs along with Polk County. I refereed a game for them against Lynn Benton, and they look pretty good. Their back line looked, they have a inside centre who scored 6 tries in that game, and he looked pretty special.
And you guys, your comments about the
Well, right now, Oregon City is tied for first in our division with Reynolds and Battleground. This coming weekend, Oregon City plays Battleground, which I think those are probably the top 3 teams, with Lawrence's team and the Newburgh team right there very close as well. So I think probably those 5 teams are the ones that you're going to be looking at for the championship.
I think the one kind of dark horse that we don't really know a whole lot about is the Portland Pumas. Now, I don't remember seeing them at the preseason tournament, and they always come with, at least a lot of strength. Portland Pumas is actually a single school team, kind of in name, because they come from a private school, but being a private school, they have some of the strengths that a club team has, where they can pull in players from different locations.
I probably should have mentioned the Pumas. We ended up beating them in the last 30 seconds. They gave us one heck of a match. So,
gentlemen, I appreciate you joining us tonight and updating us on the situation with rugby and narrating our little action scene that we had there. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future. We want to thank our guests tonight, Chip Burnside, Lawrence Anderson, and Keith Swensen. And we're going to take a break, and when we come back, well, in the break, we're going to show you Grant High School, some of their clips from their season-winning championship, and then we're going to have the head coach, Robert Keys, and a couple of their players. So we'll show you the video, and we'll be right back.
Comes up short on a wide open layup.
Chapman with a dunk. There's a three-point shot, good. Down the lane for a big guy, he's got a lot of agility, and he kind of squirmed the shot in, and then Rankin stole the inbound pass and put it in.
Goes in, another layup. Layup is good.
Darius with three. In the corner, the jumper for three, drilled it. Underneath.
Rankin. Great pass, tight work by Strickland.
Deloney, ball loose. Picked back up by the Generals. They get it to Deloney. Some more underneath, turnaround jumper goes. Nice.
Hickok, Quinn.
Corner for Rankin, the shot for three, it goes. Into Rankin. There's the pull-up jumper, off the backboard.
Deloney for
underneath.
Hickok with the save to some more.
So Chapman knows what to do with it when he gets a break in on the basket.
Yes, he does. Outside to Quinn. Let's see if that shot is still going.
Gets the ball back to Rankin.
Yule's not even looking at the basket. It's going to make it tough.
Pull-up jumper off the glass. Rankin looks for an opening, can't find anything. Underneath, the bucket off. Still trying to get the ball. Some more due. Chapman's got to be careful. Chapman's got 3 personal fouls. Some more inside turnaround jumper.
Big move. Hickok brings it up.
Hickok. Generals need action. They need buckets. Rankin goes down the lane. He knows how to get them.
He knows how to score.
Here come the Generals. Deloney ahead. Hickok. Rankin passed up. Takes a three-pointer.
It's good.
Well, he's has the mic. Okay. Oh, he's mic. He's mic'd up. George, you guys gotta split that.
This is Darius. This is Aaron, right? And that's Ty.
What a great video there, huh, Dave? See these guys highlighted.
Absolutely. We're here today with the 6A 2018 Boys Basketball Championship. Doesn't it sound good to say that?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Head coach Robert Keys of the Grant Generals, and we have 3 of the players here from the championship team. Coach, you want to introduce your players?
Yes, sure. To my left is Ty Rankin, a junior. To my right is Darius Quinn, senior, and Aaron Deloney, junior.
And you guys, congratulations on that big win over Jefferson in the state championship game. You know, it's you lose to a team 3 times in a season, and maybe you start thinking, I don't know if we can beat these guys, but those 3 losses you had were by a total of 10 points, and one of them was by 1 point. And then finally in the championship game, you got it done. Darius, you're a senior. That had to be just a big thrill for you to come away with the championship.
Of course.
You've been working on it for 4 years.
Man, yeah, I mean, everybody dreams of it. I mean, your childhood goal is to win a state championship, definitely. So, I mean, like I said, it's something you dream of. So, ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, it was a huge thing to do.
And Aaron, I remember at the end of a game during the year I talked to you, and I can't remember which game it was, but one of the games, and you guys were, when I asked you about your season, you kept saying to me over and over, we play together. We're a team, we play together. Was that the key for you this season?
Definitely. Playing together, it just gets everybody on the same page, and it's fun like that. If all your teammates are having fun, the bench is involved, and your coaches are happy, it just makes the season fun. It's easy to get more wins like that. And Ty, you're kind of one of the outside shooters on the team. I saw you make all those 3-pointers during the course of the year. Was it exciting to you, the season and the win?
Yeah, it was really exciting, especially to win a championship as a junior. Yeah, it was a big part of my high school career, and I still got next year, and hopefully we can get it done next year too.
Right, Coach, talk a little bit about these 3 players you brought with you.
They're my family. They're an extension of my family, excuse me. I've been watching these guys play since they were 6th, 7th grade. To have the opportunity to get to coach these young men it's been a blessing. I love these guys.
You played in the PIL. You went to Marshall, and to win the PIL championship as a coach and then win the state championship, that had to be a big thrill. Not only that, but you played your home games this season at Marshall High School.
Yeah, it brought back a lot of flashback memories to me being at Marshall, but at the end of the day, you know, it's been closed, as you know, but it's a place where I called home when I played for 4 years there.
Your 2 other starters were out of town tonight or were not able to get here. Talk a little bit about Kelton Samore and Damon Hickok.
Kelton Samore, 3-time PIL All-League player. He was taking a visit at Colgate, so it had a plane delay. That's why he wasn't able to be here. But outstanding year that he had this year. You know, him and Darius playing together, I thought that Darius was going to be a big difference maker. And they complemented each other very well. Damon Hickok, you know, our glue guy. You know, he did everything from rebound to assist to steals, defensively stopped, you know, other teams' best players. So both of those guys were a tremendous help to the team. Our extension is more than just our team, our 5 players. Our bench, like AD said, was a huge part of knowing their role, being a part of the team, and keeping it family-oriented.
Well, Darius, you're the senior. What's your plans next year? Do you have any?
I mean, as of right now, I got visits planned. I'm not committed anywhere currently, so I'm just going to take it one step at a time, take my visits, and figure it out from there.
You got any clue where your visits are?
This weekend, I'm going to Western Nebraska. Next weekend, I'm going on a visit to a prep school, and then I got a school in North Dakota that's interested in me. So, like I said, I'm going to take it one step at a time and go from there.
You want to continue to play basketball, right?
Yes, of course.
Coach,
Video coming up.
oh, all right, I'm sorry. We're going to take a break, and we have a video here covering some of the grant actions. So we'll watch this, and we'll be right back. Democrats and Peppa with a bucket. And the lead goes to 4, 73-69.
3 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Rankin in the corner. The shot by Hickok.
Hickok with the big 3.
Hickok's hit both his threes from the corner.
Ford is playing really tight defense on Deloney. Get it to Rankin. Quinn, come around the pick.
Quinn, the pull-up jumper.
Good.
In regulation and in overtime. It's a 1-possession game.
Those are the ones you remember, though.
Yeah. I personally don't think it should have went in overtime.
How are you guys feeling during this?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you.
It's a blur right now.
Yeah, it was kind of all just crazy.
And the lead goes to Grant.
Whoa.
Deloney is going to inbound the ball. Hickok's in backcourt. And that's where they'll start.
There we
Jumper's
go.
going to start at backcourt, bring the ball over the timeline. Run some time off the clock. We're down to 11, 10. Some more, loses the ball, picks it up. He's double teamed, goes out of bounds. Loses the ball. All right, welcome back. Coach, your team is probably known as a high-scoring offense. You score a lot of points in games, but Your defense triggers a lot of those points, and your team plays pressing defense the whole game long. Is that your philosophy on offense and defense?
This year it was. I knew these guys they like to play fast, but the good part about it is their basketball IQ understood the half-court sets as well.
Both Aaron and Ty, great shooters, and also great defenders. And when you guys get the ball rolling down court, you really get it going. You like playing that way?
Definitely, it's fun. Playing fast is the way we like to play too. We've been playing together since before a long time. But yeah, it's just a fun way to play.
Do you and Ty kind of feel like you got the free hand? You get open down the court.
Definitely.
You're taking the shot.
Definitely.
You like that philosophy?
Yeah.
And you guys will be seniors next year.
Yeah.
You're going to be the leaders of the team next year?
Yeah, definitely. Coming in just to get our teammates better and hopefully do the same thing.
Coach, you got some players coming up to the varsity next year. How's Grant look next year?
Sky's the limit. I like our pieces that we have coming back. Again, it's a lot of development, making sure that they're paying attention to detail as far as the off-season workouts and wanting to get better and fit in. The underclassmen have a lot of big shoes to fill.
You had 3 losses to Jefferson, 1 loss to Oak Hill Academy. I don't know if you saw them play recently on ESPN when they were in that tournament at the end of the season, and they got beat pretty good by Monteverde.
I didn't see it. I don't know if they did.
I saw it. And it was in New York?
Yeah.
Yes, it was in New York.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
All right, well, you brought the trophy with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When did you realize during the season that this was possible?
At the beginning.
So you knew it all. Okay.
I had a big vision.
Okay.
You got to think big, and I thought big, and I just knew that, again, like I said, Darius's presence, I knew that was a big lift for us, going in with the players that we are, the caliber of players that we had. I remember one thing when Aaron was an 8th grader. I told him, we were looking up on the wall one day, and I said, look at all those, one day those are going to be one of us. And he goes, 2 for sure. I don't know about 3 because he was a freshman at that time, but he said 2 for sure. So 1 down and 1 to go.
Good deal, good deal.
All right, Coach, well, thanks for joining us tonight. The 6A State Championship Grant General basketball team players Ty Rankin, Aaron Deloney, and Darius Quinn. We look forward to following you next season, maybe covering some of your games, and look forward to seeing action from the Grant Generals. So thanks for joining us. I want to thank the Grant Generals for joining us, and we look forward to seeing them in PIL action next year. I want to thank our crew tonight, our producer, Ryan Johnson, our director, Jim Thompson, our technical director, Sean Phillipson, Alva Myers on the audio, our cameras, Orlando Sanchez, Tom Hawkins, and Julie Garland. My broadcast partner, Steve Roberts. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dave Hall. Good night, everybody, from Oregon Sports Beat.